My name is Annalisa Dodds. I'm the Labour member of the European Parliament for the South East of England. We're campaigning at the moment to try and make sure that Erasmus stays open to British students in the future. But lots of people might not know what Erasmus is. So I've got some very nice people here who've benefited from Erasmus, and we're just going to talk about their experience. So could you explain to us what happened when you took part in the Erasmus scheme?
So I'm Jess, and I took part as part of my Law with French Law degree, which meant that I got to spend a year abroad in Paris studying at a French university. So it was a completely different experience to studying in Oxford. I got to experience a completely different way of teaching, a completely different way of sitting exams, and of course, living in a completely different country.
Absolutely. And were you in France, or were you in a different
No,
country?
my name's Charlie, and I was in Bonn and Berlin for a year as part of my history and German degree. And I went and worked in 3 different places across the country to get an experience that was slightly different to university.
Brilliant, great. So you did quite different things. You were at university studying, but you were working in different places. What kind of experience do you think it gave you that might help in the future when it comes to future study or to the job market? Do you think that it's something that you're very proud of, that you would put on your CV, for example?
It's definitely on my CV.
Right.
I think it's quite a big thing. I think it's something very different to a lot of people. I think no matter what you do, a second language is always really helpful, and to have proof that you can, speak a different language. But I think it just catches people's attention if I can put, my Oxford University right at the top and then a second university underneath. It just makes everything stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it was a really helpful experience as well to be able to not just go and see what the job market was like, but also to have a look at it in another country as well, and to very much expand your world.
So of course there's been a discussion in Britain about whether Erasmus is going to continue. We've had a situation where sadly a lot of British students haven't known about Erasmus in the past. I hope that it will continue. How do both of you feel about that? Do you want to keep it open for the future for other students?
I think it definitely needs to stay open, because I'm sure there's other ways potentially of doing studies abroad, but the Erasmus scheme is so well organised. There's things like the Erasmus grant, which particularly for me living in a capital city was so important to help fund the entire year without eating baked beans for a whole year. And I just think it's just by far the best way and the easiest way of going about it.
Yeah, the stipend that they offered me definitely allowed me to focus on things like finding a job that I wanted to do rather than having to think about surviving. And it meant that I could afford to do my level. I also think something to forget often is that it's a two-way thing. So there are students from other countries coming into Britain as well. And my first 2 years at university before going abroad got to meet so many people from different places with different experiences that I would never have had otherwise. So even people that don't go abroad, I think, are really benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite interesting what you were both saying about the financial support as well, because some of the research into Erasmus has shown that it's actually the worst off students who benefit the most from having done an Erasmus year abroad or some period of time abroad in terms of their prospects in the future. So it really isn't something that is just restricted to an elite. It has a big benefit for those students who might not be able to afford other opportunities otherwise. And I'm hoping that this little one might be able to take part in it in the future, possibly as well. Maybe that was why she was pulling my hair. Well, thanks very much again for spending the time to talk to me, and let's hope that we can keep Erasmus for our students in the future.